Everyone came home except Nolan Wells. Let's talk about it, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
A sweet old home team. Thank you, subscribers, and my users and reviews. All of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for our team to advise. It's time for our team to advise. It's time for our team to advise.
Search teams have found the body of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, the Mississippi college football player who vanished after spending the 4th of July at Horn Island with friends. While authorities are still awaiting official DNA confirmation, both the Jackson County coroners and Nolan's family have indicated that there is no reason to believe the remains belong to anyone else. As of today, it has been confirmed that it was indeed Nolan Wells. An autopsy has been done, and investigators are hoping it will answer what happened to Nolan in his final hours. Nolan, a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College, traveled to Horn Island on July the 4th with a group of friends. Some people say friends. The island is uninhibited, accessible only by boat, and a popular 4th of July destination for boaters and their families. He was reportedly last seen around 3 p.m. on the island's north end, and multiple reports say he stayed behind after his friends decided to leave because he was talking with a young woman he believed could give him a ride back later. Now, I grew up in an African American home. This may be applicable to others, but we had one rule. You go together, you come back together. His friends didn't think that was unusual. They had all visited the island together before, and Nolan often spent time with this group. But one detail has raised questions since. Nolan's phone stayed on the boat with his friends, who later returned it to his mother. And that meant Nolan had no way to contact anyone unless he borrowed someone else's phone. What happened after roughly 3 p.m. remains one of the central mysteries to this case. Before we go any further, I am going to share a video with you all. And I want you to ponder it. Let me know what you think about it downtown in the comments section. And then we're going to go on with the rest of the story.
Black people, you have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You got to stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. But he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while. But it could have wound up with him being killed. And, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children, because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids. God loves you. I love you.
Tell me what you think about it downtown in the chat. Please be respectful in the chat. There is a way to articulate and to type what it is that you want to type without being disrespectful. I wanted to play that because this is the sentiment, or one of the sentiments, that is showing up all over social media platforms. As the evening came, Nolan didn't return home. His family was concerned and they alerted the authorities. So a large search ensued involving the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Mississippi Marine Patrol, National Park Service Rangers, and volunteer groups including the United Cajun Navy, which deployed boats, drones, aircrafts, and rescue specialists. And according to Vice President Brian Trasher, volunteers searched all weekend without finding any clues. So on Monday morning, aerial searches resumed at the first light, and Trashers flying a grid pattern over Horn Island and nearby Berrien Islands noticed something unusual. Several boats had gathered on the island's northwest tip, where none had been before, and so law enforcement vehicles quickly arrived. And at approximately 8:45 a.m., a National Park Service ranger found a body near the northwest end of Horn Island. Since that time period, authorities have identified the remains. Nolan's mother confirmed the news in an emotional Facebook post, thanking volunteers and law enforcement and describing her son as someone who always encouraged others. So I'm going to share a picture of Nolan. Do I have it? I believe I do. This is a picture of Nolan with his mom. Very, very sad. These are the young men that were with Nolan on the island. Again, she confirmed in her Facebook post his mom, thanking volunteers and law enforcement and describing her son as someone who always encouraged others. She said that he was a special soul. She had asked for privacy as the family grieved. But of course, we all know with a case like this, nobody's getting any privacy. Southwest Mississippi Community College also released a statement calling Nolan an exemplary student athlete, respected by his classmates, his teammates, faculty, and the staff. I had before the body was found, Nolan's mom had taken to social media and had warned the public that a GoFundMe page claiming to raise money for the family was fraudulent and that no fundraisers had been authorized at the time. Since then, the family and friends have set up an official fundraiser to cover funeral and memorial costs. One of my YouTube, Instagram friends had put up the GoFundMe, and I quickly told her that I did not know whether or not it was legit. So I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up with her. She is one of my subscribers. That it appears now the family does have one to cover expenses. For Nolan's parents, confirmation of his passing didn't end the search for the answers. And I don't think that it has for the general public at large. It basically started a different question. So we got grief mixed with unresolved questions. And we're not trying to assign any blame, at least I'm not. But according to attorney Benjamin Crump, he wants to make sure that the case wasn't dismissed as a tragic accident before every piece of evidence had been examined. So, one early focus was Nolan's physical condition. His family described him as a disciplined, exceptional athlete who had been training for workouts that could have changed the total trajectory of his football career. And they said that he was careful about what he put into his body in the days beforehand. So, to them, that discipline makes it harder to understand how the circumstances unfolded. Why, they asked, would someone so focused with his future suddenly take a reckless risk? There have been rumors on social media that some of the gentlemen that were with him, the rumors are basically they were into something. Okay, that was a rumor. So Benjamin Crump, who has been hired by the family, announced that the family will run its own independent investigation alongside law enforcement, which includes transporting his body here to Washington, D.C. for a second autopsy by an independent medical examiner. Not just to confirm the cause of death, but to check for any injuries beyond drowning that might indicate something happened before he entered the water. There is another detail that is surfacing during this process. After Nolan's parents turned his phone over to the investigators and later got it back, there were questions that came up about deleted messages. So it isn't known who deleted them, when, or whether they're connected to his disappearance at all. But Crump himself urged caution here. But it added one more open question to an already long list. I'm sure even now, I'm not looking at the comments intentionally on purpose. We got our moderator Ray Della doing that for me because I don't want to be distracted by that. I just want to report this story. Um, a lot of people like myself are wondering, how does a child at his age ever depart from their cell phone? In a video that I did the other day, I talked about how attached I am to mine, and I am a woman of a particular age. And so I can't imagine how he was separated from that phone, especially given the fact that he was allegedly meeting some new girl. There also has been allegations that the gentleman that was with him are all lawyered up and lawyered up quickly. Moreover, I have seen posts where these four gentlemen have erased their social media pages or taken them down. I don't know, what the proper term is for it. And that some people are, putting their information out there like that. And I don't know how I feel about that. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not sure how many of these gentlemen are minors, and I think that minors have a right to be protected. I don't know, but I know that I have seen some posts where people are disclosing their full legal names. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that downtown in the comment section. But anyway, Crump's team, Benjamin Crump, has also begun interviewing friends and other parents that weekend and others who were present that weekend. I apologize, saying that they intended to share verified information publicly rather than speculate. And that approach contrasts with what has spread online, where theories have absolutely multiplied, some insisting on a simple drowning, while others are suspecting foul play. There are also others who are fixating on rumors of an argument beforehand. And Benjamin Crump has repeatedly said allegations aren't evidence and rumors aren't facts. So now we have the issue of race. Keeping in mind the video that I just showed you earlier in this video, let's approach it. So Nolan was reportedly the only black young man in the group that went to Horn Island, a fact that has sparked a broader conversation about race and perception, including whether the case could and would be viewed differently if the circumstances were reversed. The question was raised without claiming it proves any wrongdoing, framing it instead as something that they believe deserves serious reflection. Would the public and investigators react differently if several black teenagers had returned from an outing while a white friend never made it home? These are questions that are being tossed around on social media platforms. Benjamin Crump, in his interview, referenced Mississippi's history with racial justice cases, not to suggest history is repeating, but to explain why the family wants independent experts reviewing the evidence rather than relying on a single investigation. So, what investigators and the public are still weighing means a lot because Thrasher, drawing on his search and rescue experience, he believes one likely scenario is that Nolan tried to swim towards another boat or group of people. Here's why I pause with this. And again, this is just my opinion. It's not actual or factual. Wouldn't that have already been discussed? If this young black guy was swimming to try to get to another boat, I'm sure that there are many people who would have seen it and who would have reported it. So far, in all of the research that I have done, I have not seen anyone say that they saw Nolan, Xavier Wells, trying to swim to their boat or any other person's boat. And so that leaves me with a huge pause and a what? I'm sorry, what? A strong rip current, they say, was present near part of Horn Island that day. And they say even a healthy athletic swimmer would have been overwhelmed or could have been overwhelmed by it. He also raised a second, less likely possibility that Nolan had boarded another boat before somehow ending up in the water. Again, that gives me pause because I'm sure that would have been reported. If I'm on a boat with my friend, here's how I'm thinking about it. And this is just my thoughts. Y'all let me know y'all's in downtown in the live chat because this is just a discussion. If he was on another boat and somehow ended in the water, why wouldn't they make attempts to get him? Why wouldn't they report that a young man was thrashing around in the water, tired from the current, tried to board our bus, and we think that he may have drowned? In order for me to reconcile with this suggestion would mean that everybody or no one cared that this young man was having problems. So that leaves me with a but according to some reports, they have stressed there's no evidence of foul play at this time. Thrasher specifically cautioned the public against conspiracy theories or accusations against Nolan's friends, some of whom have already received online death threats as people try to fill gaps with assumptions. Other factors may also be relevant. Under Mississippi law, adults Nolan's age aren't required to wear a personal flotation device on a boat, though one must generally be available. It's unclear from available photos whether Nolan had access to one. But I thought that he had stayed on the island with the girl. Officials also noted extremely high temperatures and a dangerous UV index that day. Heat related dehydration and fatigue can make it even strong swimmer vulnerable if they unexpectedly end up in a boat in the water. And Horn Island's isolation several miles offshore, uninhibited boat access only means that once someone is separated from their group, help isn't nearby. So here's where things stand right now. Investigators are still working to pin down his movements after 3 p.m. and the autopsy and forensic testing may bring some clarity in the coming weeks. Authorities are asking the public to be patient and to avoid spreading rumors that could further hurt his family and his friends. The open questions are so numerous and for now unanswered. For now. But here's a few that I have been hearing, and I'm going to leave with you all. Why was Nolan the only one who didn't make it back? Who was the young woman he stayed behind to talk to? I understand that she has been cooperative, and I've also seen and heard that there was someone who said she is the only one who has not changed her story. I don't know what that means. That is just something that I heard. What happened, y'all, between 3 p.m. and the moment he entered the water? Why will an independent autopsy uncover something the state's finding missed, or will it confirm it? And underlying it all, how does a healthy 18-year-old boy with Division One dreams leave for a holiday weekend and never come back home? What's certain is this: his mama and his daddy, a family that expected to spend another 4th of July together, is instead preparing to bury their son. And between the official search and the rescue account and the family's own independent inquiries, this case remains open on more than just a legal technicality. It remains open in the eyes of the people who loved him the most. Y'all let me know what you all think about this case downtown in the comment section. I welcome your feedback. Please make sure again that it is respectful. But I want to hear about it. And I'm sure that other people would like to hear what you think about it as well. Thank you all so much for being here. If you like what you have seen here, please hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on your notification bell so that every time I go live, you go live with me. Rest in peace, Nolan Xavier Wells.